Hey, Shalom, Shalom, Shalakia for the delay from the first installment. But I'm gonna go ahead and pick up where I left off, playing this clip from Bibi or Benjamin Milikowski, the Polish devil, in his his warhawk rhetoric that he was further spewing in this speech that he directed against the French president Emmanuel Macron. For Macron coming out and calling against or calling for the halt, of the military aid to the Amalekites over there. All right, and further expose the hypocrisy of Milikowski's speech. All right, and further filter everything mentioned in the second installment of the first epistle. All right, or picking up in continuation from the first installment of this epistle. All right, in regards to why the beast in Revelation 17 and 16, being of NATO and EU members, are prophesied to turn against the whore, America, Babylon the Great. All right, so we'll go ahead and continue this clip here.
And some other Western leaders
started from the top.
are now. I have a message. I have a message for President Macron. Today, Israel is defending itself on 7 fronts against the enemies of civilization. We're fighting in Gaza against Hamas, those savages who murdered, raped, beheaded, and burned our people on October 7th. We're fighting in Lebanon against Hezbollah, the most heavily armed terror organization in the world, which was planning an even greater massacre than October 7th on our northern border, and that has rocketed Israeli towns and cities for nearly a year. We're fighting against the Houthis in Yemen and the Shiite militias in Iraq and Syria that together have launched hundreds of drones and missile attacks against Israel. We're fighting against terrorists in Judea and Samaria who are trying to murder civilians in the heart of our cities. And we're fighting against Iran, which last week fired over 200 ballistic missiles directly at Israel, and which stands behind the 7-front war against Israel. As Israel fights the forces of barbarism led by Iran, all civilized countries should be standing firmly by Israel's side. Yet President Macron and some other Western leaders are now calling for an arms embargo against Israel. Shame on them. Is Iran imposing an arms embargo on Hezbollah, on the Houthis, on Hamas, and on its other proxies? Of course not. The axis of terror stands together. But countries who supposedly oppose this terror axis call for an arms embargo on Israel. What a disgrace. Well, let me tell you this. Israel will win with or without their support. But their shame will continue long after the war is won. For in defending ourselves against this barbarism, Israel is defending civilizations against those who seek to impose a dark age of fanaticism on all of us. Rest assured, Israel will fight until the battle is won, for our sake and for the sake of the peace and security of the entire world.
All right, so I want to expose some hypocrisy in what he said there in regards to him speaking about how those, or him implying that those who stand with particular group that he referred to, as I go to spell it out, Hamas, in regards to certain nations standing with them, being terrorists, and implying that, if for quote unquote civilized nations to not stand with the state of Israel, all right, a clear terrorist organization, all right, then they would not prove to be civilized and terrorists. But let's further expose some hypocrisy on that in regards to some history on how, how HAMAS was established, all right, on behalf of the contributions of the state of Israel. All right, so you can see here, this is on First Post. All right, it's a First Post platform, and this is the article entitled on the First Post platform, Vantage, how the state of Israel helped create HAMAS that is fighting today. It says, we know about the state of Israel's intelligence failures leading up to Saturday's attacks. or attack. It says HAMAS 2 is one such mistake, a grave error of strategic judgment. All right. It says, we know the supporters of HAMAS, the likes of Qatar, Iran, and Hezbollah. But in the 1960s and 70s, this list included another country, the State of Israel. We know it sounds surprising, but it's true. Many experts say HAMAS is the State of Israel's creation. Allow us to explain. GAZA wasn't always under HAMAS rule. Until 1966, it was ruled by Egypt. Back then, there was no place for radical Islamists. Some of them were executed by Egypt. But in 67, GAZA changed hands. The Arab-Israeli War was fought that year, and the State of Israel gained control of GAZA. There, the State of Israel encountered a wheelchair-bound Islamist Sheikh Ahmad Hassin. He would go on to found HAMAS. All right. So it goes on to say, in 67, the State of Israel didn't make much of him. They thought he was interested in running schools and hospitals, blah, blah, blah. But they didn't like one thing about him. Sheikh Yassin hated, but they did like one thing about him. Sheikh Yassin hated the P Liberation Organization. That P group there is Ishmaelites. Okay, the PLO. It says the PLO, led by Yasser Arafat, was a coalition that officially represented the Ishmaelites. All right, known as the P people there. The State of Israel couldn't stand the PLO and Arafat. Their charter called for the destruction of the State of Israel, and they carried out attacks and hijackings. So the State of Israel wanted to weaken the PLO. So yeah, the PLO, this particular Ishmaelite coalition, was carrying out attacks against the State of Israel. All right. So it says, enter Sheikh Yassin. He too couldn't stand the PLO, but his reasons, his reasons were different. While Arafat claimed to be secular nationalist, Yassin wasn't. He was an Islamist. So the classic equation was at play here. Your enemy's enemy is your friend, and Israel helped Yassin and company. And here's the point: the birth of HAMAS. What happened next is detailed by a former Israeli official. Yassin had created a group called Muhammad, and the State of Israel recognized it. That too, as a charitable group, they also allowed him to create the Islamic University of GAZA. Today, it's considered a hotbed of radicalism. In fact, the State of Israel attacked the university yesterday, which yesterday was referred to, October 11th, 2023, around the time of October 7th, which a couple of days ago marked the anniversary. All right, the 1 year anniversary, or in this case, rather yesterday, marked the 1 year anniversary of HAMAS reportedly carrying out attacks against the State of Israel. All right, but now we know that this was the State of Israel's Frankenstein, if you will. This was their creation. It's going to further go into that. So all that jazz that Milikowski was spewing, okay, and his further attempts to of a smear campaign against his opposers, okay, against his tyranny, has further bit him in the ass, because it's further shown light on the history of HAMAS and the contributions on behalf of the State of Israel that he represents in creating HAMAS. So, in regards to the 1 year anniversary of HAMAS reportedly, massacring the State of Israel, well, that blood is on the hands of you Amalekites over there, okay, claiming to be the chosen of the Lord, man, because you helped create this group, okay. And this is secular history being further filtered to biblical prophecy to further tear down your strongholds and assembly blocks, including your false narratives, okay, that within your Western media, all right, that you've been further using to perpetrate a fraud, that you're with this victim mindset, okay, how you're supposedly on defense when you're simultaneously attacking 4 different countries, okay, while they're not provoking you. You have not been able to prove that they have initially provoked you, okay, as if they were on offense and you're on defense, when it's actually the contrary, because you've been further exposed to your false narratives. All right. So continue on with this information here. It says, jumping down here. It says, so when did the state of Israel realize its mistake? When it was too late. In 1984, the state of Israel arrested Yassin. He was found storing weapons, which should have been a red flag, but the state of Israel ignored it. They considered him to be the lesser threat. So the next year, Yassin walked out of jail, and in '87, he formed HAMAS. And this was the guy, Yassin, that the state of Israel was funding. So that means that they directly funded, okay, this group, the creation of this group, that which is a convenient part of secular history that Milikowski Bibi, left out, during his war hawk accusation campaign, within a smear campaign against his opposers, including most recently France's Macron. All right. So says the setting was perfect for him because '87 was also when the first Intifada started, a major P uprising, Ishmaelite uprising. He used those sentiments to try and gain popularity, and by the '90s he succeeded. All right. That's pretty much the point. It says, who courted these people? HAMAS, the rise of HAMAS, TERROR. By then, HAMAS was organizing attacks on the state of Israel, even eliminating Israeli soldiers. Many former officials have expressed regret for this, and one Israeli commander admitted to funding HAMAS himself. Imagine that. Israeli taxpayers giving money to HAMAS. It was a gross miscalculation, one that is now costing the state of Israel. Now, why wasn't Milikowski talking about this in his speech? Because it wasn't convenient for him to mention this in his speech, because it would further expose all the false narratives in their propaganda, and expose them to be the goddamn devil the Bible speaks of, man. You see that? And this is why, in this article, all right, on this particular platform, breaking news, Baja breaking news, it says Macron calls for immediate halt to arms deliveries to Israel, the state of Israel. All right. It says the priority now is to halt the flow of weapons, which is an embargo that Bibi was talking about, which an embargo is an official ban on trade. All right. Or other, activity, like a commercial activity, within a particular country. All right. So, and this is why Yemen, the Houthis on behalf of Yemen, as I spoke about in the first installment of this lesson, has been targeting British oil tankers and U.S. commercial ships, okay, of commodities being, distributed through, through the operation of international trade, okay, which is further geoeconomical war measures, of this last World War, Armageddon, modern day World War III, that's going to further affect these nations in every facet, especially geoeconomically, for all wars are banking wars that it requires heavy spending. All right. And this is what's gonna further cripple these economies. And that's gonna further give these nations further justifiable reason to aim at the whore, America, Babylon the Great, including her allies, or her NATO and EU allies. And that's why, as of recently, Norway, just spoke against top NATO ally America by speaking about forming a coalition of certain European countries and Arab countries, okay, to rise up against the machine. So they have their own so-called European counterparts and other allies that are rejecting this wine of fornication, prophesied in Jeremiah the 51st chapter. All right. You see here, Macron emphasized that France does not contribute to arms supplies in the region and called on the international community to push for de-escalation. He said France is not delivering any, he stressed. Okay. And this is why here, you can see, says Israeli prime minister is a psychopath who threatens those who speak against him or talk about stopping the genocide. Latest case, French President Emmanuel Macron banned giving military aid to Israel and advised to stop BOM beaming Lebanon. All right, and then shortly after that, that French multinational Total Energies gas station company in the capital of Lebanon in Beirut was conveniently attacked shortly after Milikowski's speech. Okay, of choice words against French ally Macron in France. So this was clearly retaliation for France for Macron's open um, disdain, for the barbarity that and that the Amalekites are carrying out over there. Okay, against them, against everyone. Okay, including you know, non-militants. You can see. Let me go ahead and bring out this information. Since October 2023, the State of Israel occupation forces have eliminated nearly 17,000 children, nearly 11,500 women, 986 paramedics, 175 journalists, and the list goes on. 85 civil defense officers rather, Slovakia. And that was that. And this is why over here, in a similar article, what does it say here? On the same platform, okay, based out of Damascus, it says Syria 7 deleted, 11 wounded in Israeli strike on Damascus. And when you read this, it does not mention that all 11 of these individuals, okay, or all 7 of these individuals eliminated were all Iran proxy militants. Okay, so which means what? These devils are clearly masquerading civilians more so than they are militants. And that's why there was a speech I was listening to earlier where Milikowski said, in a facetious, condescending manner to them Ishmaelites over there in Lebanon. Well, he said in so many words, we're going to continue to attack these terrorists, okay, at the expense of the people in Lebanon. Unless they stand up and evacuate. But here's the thing: where the hell are these people going to evacuate when there's no clear place for them to evacuate with any clear assurance of resources? Okay, that would further aid in their survival. During their excursion or their departure from Lebanon. So it's clear. And it's just clear narcissism from this damn devil, man. Okay, as it says in Psalm the 10th chapter. Go ahead and grab that real quick. All right, Psalm chapter 10. All right, the book of Psalm chapter 10, and I'm gonna start. Let me see. Start of verse 4. It says, "The wicked through the pride of his countenance will not seek after the Most High Yahweh." The Most High Yahweh is not on his thoughts, and this is why these devils don't subscribe to His only begotten Son, the Heavenly Father, Yahweh's only begotten Son, as their King. But yet they claim to be the JEWs. When Pontius Pilate clearly asked Yahushua, "Are thou the King of the JEWs?" and Yahushua responded by saying, "Thou sayest it," as in to say, yes. In confirmation, yes, I am the King of the JEWs. I am the King of the kingdom of Judah. Okay. But yet these Amalekites don't subscribe to him because they're not the people. Their king is King Bulan, okay, and whom adopted Judaism in the year 861 BCE. Okay. So this is Psalm 10 and 5. Here's the point. His ways are always grievous. Thy judgments are far above out of his sight. As for all his enemies, he puffeth at them. And this is what this devil's doing. He's puffing at his enemies, man. All right. So they're puffing back at him. Okay, in preparation for his destruction. All right, so this is why Yemen's been attacking them, attacking their shipments. Okay, you have these other nations preparing, indulging in military drills. Sharpening, further furbishing their swords. It says in Ezekiel the 21st chapter. This is the book of Obadiah, starting in verse 6. And it reads, "How are the things of Esau, Ishah, searched out? How are his things sought up?" Here's the point of verse 7. "All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him, and that wound that's been laid under you is death and destruction, man. For you compromising with the sovereignty of these nations, okay, out of your lascivious, covetous aspirations of global dominion, okay. So this is Habakkuk chapter 2, okay, Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 4. It says, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. All right. That's what it says in Hebrews, the 12th chapter, Hebrews 12, verses 16 and 17. Okay. Prophesying how this devil, Esau, Edom, is profane. There's no other nation more profane than him. Okay. Hence why in that Greek word for profane is babeos, meaning ungodly. All right. That's why, profane is, is being outside of the temple. Okay. And that's East because that further exposes Esau, Edom's demonic brutish, beast-like nature. Okay, that's why he's a natural vagabond, a cave dweller. Hence the term Caucasian, because that's the area where he got pushed to during the Holy Wars in the 8th century. All right, between the Caspian and the Black Sea. So everything that is a part of your nature is exposing you. This is Habakkuk 2 and 5. Yea, also because he transgresses by wine, he is a proud man. You need to keep it at home. Who enlarges his desire as hell and is as death and cannot be satisfied. But gathered into him all nations and heaped into him all people. And that's why Psalm 58 and 2 says he worketh the violence in his hands by way of his blessing, man. And he's doing that by way of his blessing, which is his sword, which is what his military industrial complex represents, in his central intelligence agencies. All right. This is verse 6. Shall not all these take up a parable against him and a taunting proverb against him and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay, and that word there for clay, the Hebrew word there is abatia, which is debt. Okay. Including America's $35 trillion debt deficit, which is really over that now, well over that. All right. All right, because of the big spendings on behalf of their federal budget from our taxpaying dollars, okay, allocated, towards our war efforts, man. Okay, and that's why Macron and these other nations are starting to become more privy to this devil's wickedness, and they're no longer, looking to support it because they have their own sovereignty, to account for, man. So this is verse 7 here. It says, shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee? And thou shalt be for booties unto them, as in spoils of war. Because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee. All right, because of men's blood and for the violence of the land, of the city, and of all that dwell therein. And speaking of France, that's why a few years ago, Francis Macron had mentioned how he was he was thinking about no longer relying on the military aid or the military security of America. Okay, because these nations are getting fed up with the shenanigans of you damn Edomites. Okay. So it says based out of America on behalf of the Amalekites of your Edomite nation, okay, and the Holy Land. And ironically, Macron is an Edomite. That further goes into the division of you devils, how Egyptian will rise up against Egyptian, bondman against bondman in Isaiah 9, the 19th chapter. Okay. And hence why Yahushua said in St. Mark the 3rd chapter, another reason why Yahushua mentioned in St. Mark the 3rd chapter, if Shaitan's house, is divided, it cannot stand, man. And the physical counterpart of the spiritual demon Shaitan, as in Satan and many adversary, are you Edomites, because of your demonic, wicked, brutish nature. This is verse 9. Woe to him that coveted an evil covetousness to his house, that he may set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from the power of evil. Thou hast consulted shame to thy house by cutting off many people, and hast sinned against thy soul. For the stone shall cry at the wall, and the beam out of the timber shall answer it. Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood, and establisheth a city by iniquity. And this is exactly what you did with America. It's actually what you did with the Holy Land. All right, during the Arab-Israeli war mentioned in the other article I brought out. Okay, otherwise known as the 6-Day War. Okay, in other lands, man, you took out Libya. Libya's Gaddafi in this case. Okay. Then it just came out that you devils over there in the Holy Land took out the successor of the former Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah. So you're on a rampage, man. It's gonna catch up to you, okay? To where your enemies even turn your allies rather even turning you, okay, as you know, as a further part of your enemies. All right. So I'm gonna end this off in Psalm 55 and 23. All right, Psalm 55 and 23, and it reads, "This, but thou, O power, shall bring them down to the pit of destruction. Bloody deceitful men shall not live out half their days, but I will trust in thee." Okay, we trust in Yahweh Shemeshai over them, which is the man of war, pursuing Exodus 15 and 3, over the man of sin and the sons of perdition, the son of perdition. You Edomites, perdition meaning destruction. Cause that's your modus operandi. This is what identifies you, man. And these nations are getting tired of it, and they're gonna do something about it very soon, man. And that's why these war drums are beating louder, because it's about that time. Okay, for America, Babylon the Great to be targeted. Okay, with these 200 million ICBM missile warheads, destroying this place, leaving it neither root nor branch, as it says in Malachi 4:1. All right, so that's pretty much it. I'm definitely gonna do another update on this. I just want to do, a quick update, for the sake of time. I kind of, I wasn't able to continue the first installment right away, but but here we are. You see, and by way of lascivious, covetous nature, you devils, these nations are going to do something against you, man. Okay, they're going to attack you. You see, it says here, you woe to him that coveted evil covenants to his house. Okay. All right. Because case in point, by you attacking these critical parts of commerce and so forth in terms of international trade, okay, that's further devastating on an economy, and see, this is a part of you being given a dose of your own medicine, so to say. Because case in point, by the Houthis attacking you, okay, attacking their British oil tankers, whatnot, and oil, otherwise, being petroleum, okay. To further confirm just how devastating it's going to be in the economy, just briefly view this list of goods and services. You can see here, through the Spirit, that's through the Spirit, 144. Look at that, 144 of all numbers. 144 products made from petroleum and for that may shock you. You see, all right. You see, okay, ink, bicycle tires, dresses. Okay, CD player, which nobody uses that really anymore, but curtains, skis, mops, umbrellas, roofing, shampoo, antifreeze, very, very significant invention for vehicles, to prevent overheating. Clothes, combs, vaporizers, anesthetics, very critical for survival. Refrigerators, very critical for survival. You see that? So being that petroleum or crude oil, okay, otherwise known as crude oil, produces these products, okay, by oil, these oil tankers being compromised by Yemen, British oil tankers, which Britain is a mother of America, and their British oil tankers being attacked by the Houthi rebels out of Yemen, at a response, a retaliation of Amalek and Esau doing the same thing to them. Okay, mainly as of recently over there in Lebanon, and what they did to France is what they're experiencing now, and it's gonna come back to bite them in the ass, man. And a lot of people are gonna be destroyed. A lot of people are gonna starve to death. Okay, and be put to death over a war within a civil war over scarcity of resources. Prophesied in Second Ezra, the 6th and the 15th chapters, man, specifically. And this is all a part of this World War III algorithm that will eventually lead into the destruction of the Edomites, man. So I'm gonna go end it off on that note. Once again, I'm gonna come back at some point and do another update on this. But I don't write this out as for the edifying and exhorting for the elect. I'm gonna give all praises, glory, and infinite honor to my power, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, who was the God of the living, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Baruch Wadash. And with that, a Bob at Ball, soon and very soon. Shalom to the elect, and on to the next one.